our guest is Troy Evans.
Keep your weapon at your side.
Know your community.
Stand up for truth when wrong seems right. Convictions must be strong. Pierce the darkness with the light as you go along. Living with one foot in heaven, breaking the enemy's power. In the strength of Jesus we can stand in the darkest hour. Living with one foot in heaven, ready when he calls our name. For believers to live is Christ, to die is only gain.
Welcome to Heritage of Truth. Today our guest is Troy Evans, and it is such a wonderful honor to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Evans embraced the violence-prone hip-hop culture with passion and dedication. What drew you to the gang life when you were young?
Well, I would have to say the primary thing was the family environment. The family environment was once I seen it was just awesome. And then I think the other thing was the feeling of acceptance. The fact that somebody would receive me just the way that I was.
Okay. Well, what needs did gang membership meet in your life?
I think it goes back to that idea of worth, value. Again, if you accept me the way that I am, then you allow me to be involved in your organization just as I am. You're not trying to change too much about me front, but you're willing to accept me. That was awesome. And I think the other piece was the idea of being a part of a family. It's the same thing. That was pretty much a major part of that.
Okay. Well, how did the hip-hop culture influence your life?
Oh wow. The hip-hop culture, everything from the Michael Jackson era to the MC Hammer time to breakdancing. I was involved with every portion of that, rapping, DJing, and all of that. It was just a part of what we did. In some neighborhoods, kids played baseball, and in our neighborhood, kids got involved with hip hop in every area that you could engage with the culture.
Mm-hmm. And tell us about your salvation experience after so many years of violence.
After 3 of my brothers being shot, a hit was placed on my life.
So, 3 of your brothers were shot. Were they killed? Or?
No, they all survived.
Oh, wonderful.
One on my mother's porch, one across the street from my mother's house, the other one in front of my grandfather's church. And they were all shot down. And to me, it was just like a breach in the agreement, so to speak, with the gang I was involved with that did nothing about it. So I basically did the unthinkable and left the organization. And so they put a hit out on my life, and I ended up running to Georgia, and then ended up in Durham, North Carolina, homeless, like I'm living in the back of a U-Haul truck. And I think I had my prodigal son experience, and I got up and this big old bad gangbanger called his mama, and actually sent me some money for me to come back home. I hadn't seen her in years, and I made it back home. Then I went to Detroit, and there, my name is Jessica Planners, was preaching, and just delivered a message that I just couldn't deny. The message was Jesus Christ was the answer.
Yeah, and he was. And he's made quite a difference in your life, hasn't he?
Absolutely. I think that a couple of things in a couple of areas. As we look at ministry as a holistic approach, he obviously saved me. And he sanctified me, set me apart for his personal use. And then he gave me work. He gave me that value to let me know that I am somebody. But I dropped out in the 6th grade. It's the highest level of education I had. So I had about a 2nd grade reading level. And gave my life to the Lord, on fire, doing these things, but I could barely read. But he sent me people to start teaching me how to read. But then also, I've been an engineer now for about 15 years. With a 2nd grade reading level. God is, he's allowed me to own companies and that kind of thing. It's just been awesome things he's done in my life.
He is amazing.
He is awesome.
Yeah. Well, how can adults speak into the lives of today's urban youth?
I think one of the main things is shut up and listen. a reminder of the story of Jesus carried behind and went to the church. And he was sitting amongst all the bishops, the pastors, the deacons, and the elders, the great thinkers in the church. And he was sitting in the midst of them, in the middle of them. And it's cool that his mother came and all that. And he said, please tell him to come on with us. But the greatest part of that story was that they were astonished at his answers. So if they were astonished at his answers, that means that they were having a conversation with this 12-year-old boy. They did not know that he was the I am.
Yeah.
And that means that they gave him conversation. I think that's the number one thing that we can do. We can listen to them, build relationships with them, and listen to them.
Listen to their hearts.
Listen to their heart.
Yeah. Well, how can the church and individuals help young people leave the gang?
I think it's relational. We have an acronym that we use. It's called ROTC. Relationship gives us opportunity. Opportunity gives us trust, and then trust should lead to conversion or commitment. And with that, you start establishing a relationship. I think that's the thing. Know your community. There's someone within 2 blocks of your local church or your home. Why don't you know the young man's name? And there's something I call the hamburger ministry. And the church, especially the older ladies, they have probably the most powerful ministry there is in the game. So you come with a greasy bag full of some type of meat, and you offer to that gangbanger, and you have an inroad to have conversations and be consistent with it. And I think some of the other things is providing social services. If you look at like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, at the very bottom level is the basic needs of people. If you can see about those needs, you can probably get to the top level, which is the moral and the spiritual component. But deal with the basic stuff: food, clothing, jobs, and let people know that it is Christ. Who's providing the answer, who's Jehovah Jireh in their life. You consistently do that through providing human services. Yeah.
That's good. Well, what is the Edge of Redemption about?
The Edge of Redemption was a play off of the church we planted. The name of the church is the Edge Urban Fellowship. We reach out to the hip-hop culture. That's our mission field. And we said that we would do a book that would cover my life and why we decided to plant the Edge Church. It uses my life as a backdrop to basically provide tools, practical tools, to the everyday Christian on how to be somebody that's different from them, whether they're a gangbanger, whether they're a person that has 13 piercings on their face, or they're just a person that doesn't talk to anybody. How do you be intentional about reaching those people? That's what the book is about.
Yeah, and it's a good book. So how can the Edge of Redemption, that's the name of this book, help the church?
I think it could position the church to know that there are modern day Paul experiences happening. When you have someone, Paul was introduced by saying that he was still yelling out murderous threats. He wasn't a nice guy. So I was introduced that way. But what if it's possible that God can still have a Damascus experience? What if it's still possible for God to send an Ananias, call the church, to the people, tap them on the shoulder, and say, God wants to use you? I think that this book will lay a platform so people can see that today God is still working as He did then.
Yeah, as He did in your life. Yeah, and still doing.
Absolutely.
Still doing. Well, what do you hope the Edge of Redemption will accomplish?
At the end of the day, I'm hoping that there's souls added to the kingdom. That is the primary focus. And then I'm hoping that again that it provides a tool so the church can be confident and know that God can deliver the whole church.
Well, what I like is it's telling the church to get up out of your pews and do something. And I thank you so much for writing it, and